Hey everyone, what is up? It's Zero here, and welcome to part 3 of my RPG development tutorial series. In this part, we will be taking a look at how to configure and add swords to the sword shop, how to make PvP enabled swords so you can have specific swords I'll be able to kill other players, how to add custom animations to your swords, and possibly, if we have time, how to configure our sword pawn. So, I'm going to lead off with how to start our sword shop. I'm going to just duplicate this guy, drag him over here. I really don't feel like remaking a whole other building for the sword shop, so I'm just going to copy this one and drag it. Maybe put it like up here. This seems like a kind of cool place to have the sword shop. Yeah, that works. Now I'm just going to duplicate this, drag it up like that, and there is our building portion. Well, not the whole, but like building up to the building. Gonna get this sword shop model, which came with your EverSign RPG kit. Gonna drag it into the building, just level it out, drag them to the back of the shop, center them, and there. Now, if you click test, I believe the game comes with one sword automatically in the sword shop called the Iron Sword. I'm pretty sure. I'll double check right now. I saw it in the game items folder, so I'll just go double check that it actually is in the shop. Yep, so if you walk up to the shop, there's these 3 items. If you click one, oh, odd, nothing happens if you click one. Maybe it's not set up. Oh, I see. So I guess the kit's just kind of messed up where it looks for steel sword where the item name's actually iron sword. So if you go to replicate storage, game items, if we just change the name of this to steel sword, now we'll test it just to make sure the sword shop is indeed working properly and is set up once we actually have this. And then I'll get to actually configuring the shop and how to set up and make new swords and everything. So head on over to our sword shop, walk up, click, yep. So as you can see, if you walk up, when you hover your mouse over, it'll give you your sword name, the cost, the damage, and the cooldown. If you click it, you have enough. If you already have it, it'll say that. If you have enough to buy it, then it'll give it to you. So as you can see, this is our steel sword. If you hover over, you can see the tooltip, which does type and damage. So yeah, this shop is working. Now, say you wanted to take this, for now we're just going to work with this mesh that comes with it. Say, oh crap. Let's just drag this steel sword into the workspace and go over to it. Now, as you can see, it doesn't really look like too much of a steel sword right now. So what I'm going to do is just recolor it to something lighter. There we go. But say we wanted an iron sword first, so we didn't want to go straight from bronze to steel. I'm just going to rename the tool to whatever I want it to be called, customize the color, put textures to look however you want. Then what you need to do is go into the tool and open up the weapon config script. Here you can edit how much it'll cost in the shop, the cooldown, the minimum damage, and the maximum damage. I'm just going to leave all this the same for now, and I'll change the cost after I make sure that it actually works. So let's just make a couple swords over here, right here. We'll make the steel sword. Should be like that. Weapon config, we'll give it 5 to 7 damage. And then say we wanted one more in the shop, I'll call this the, what's a good one? I'm not good at naming swords. We'll go with an obsidian sword or a carbon sword. that's what I'll call this, the carbon sword, which will weapon config to 8 to 12. So now we have our 3 swords, our carbon sword, our iron sword, and a steel sword. You can name yours and configure yours however you want. We're going to want to drag them back into the game items. Now, we're going to want to go into our game GUIs, into our sword shop GUI, and then this is where we're going to edit stuff. You're going to want to go into your shop frame, your items, and then you're going to find these buy buttons. This is where you'll edit it. Where it says item, you're just going to change this to whatever the name of the item you want to sell in that slot is. You have to make sure it's the exact same name. So iron sword, steel sword, and carbon sword. So there, now that we've done that, if we go to the shop again, we should have 3 different swords to sell: the iron, the steel, and the carbon, instead of just 3 duplicate steel swords. Excuse me. So it did change it. As you can see, we can buy our iron sword. The only issue is that the actual text box didn't change, so we have to change that separately. But as you can see now, we are able to purchase all of our swords. Excuse me. Now if we stop testing and go back into our sword shop GUI, our shop frame, our items, we're going to want to select the button, go into our properties tab, and find text. This is where you're once again going to have to put the name of the sword that you're selling. Once you do that, it'll actually show up with, however, like, the little box will actually show the name of the sword. So now that we've confirmed that it is working, I'm actually going to go ahead and change the prices of our sword. So I'm going to have the first one cost 100 gold, steel sword cost 250 gold, and then our carbon sword cost 450 gold. Or all of it costs 500 gold. I might tweak those prices a bit later. Now, we're also going to have to go into the sword and edit. Where it says tooltip, you're going to want to, if you want your tooltip to display the damage, you can edit this, and whenever you hover over the tool down here, that's what will be displayed. So say we change this to 5 to 7. I think that's what the steel sword had. 5 to 7, and the carbon sword had 8 to 12. So if we change this down here again, 8 to 12, there we go. I'm just gonna check what the bandit blade had, because I want it to be, yeah, that seems fair. I'm just gonna actually change the tooltip now of this. In the last part is when I showed how we made the bandit blade and how we made this boss drop it on kill. So now that I've configured the price in the game item, we should be able to test and go check out that sword in the shop and actually see that it has the price when we hover over. Although we won't actually be able to buy it because we don't have any gold unless I was to go through and kill mobs till I got enough gold. But that's a waste of time, and I'm sure no one wants to watch that. Yep, as you can see, it shows this. That's an issue. So when you're hovering over now, I guess it's not saying it anymore. I think that's an issue with the kit. So if you want to display the price, you can actually just go in and make it so the little display box shows the price. So like right here, iron sword, 100 gold, steel sword, 250 gold, and carbon sword, 450 gold. So that's how you add items to the sword shop. Now I'll go through and show how to add custom animations to our swords, I believe is next. Or I'll show how to enable PvP first. So say in our starter pack, I also wanted to have a PvP sword. I usually won't do this. Usually what I'll do is I'll add a PvP area, make it when you teleport there you get the sword. But I'll show how to do that in a later part. For now I'll just show how to make it so it actually kills you to other players. If we go down to weapon config, where it says humanoid to kill enemy, change enemy to humanoid, spelled exactly as I did with a capital H. Now this PvP sword will kill players. Although I'm just going to delete that because I don't really want that in my game until later if I add a PvP area. That's bugging out a bit, I'm just going to union that. So, now that we've done that, I'll quickly show how to add custom, we'll do the pawn shop real quick. I'll show how to add custom animations in the next part because I don't have much time left for this part. Say I'm just going to duplicate this building again. The next part I might make a different building to use for something. Say we have this, I'll put this right here on this guy's part. Let's just say I separate this and just drag this right over here and just union this back up. Now if we drag our sword pawn in there, so if we, did I duplicate? Oh yeah, there's two more, it doesn't matter. If we go to sword pawn, if we go into our shop config, this you can change what sword pawn, so you can have multiple different sword pawn GUIs to sell different swords. If you want to edit what swords you can sell, you're going to go into game GUIs, sword pawn, shop frame, tabs. I'll play quick just to show off the sword shop, then I'll show how to add our bandit blade to it so that players can sell their boss drop. Then that'll be the end of the episode once I do that. Say we come over here to this sword pawn and open it up. You can see it has two different tabs, the sword tab and the special tab. Sword is where we can put normal swords that the players buy. Special is where we could put things like boss drops. As you can see, if we click our bronze sword, or I guess you can't sell it. But if we had the iron sword and we clicked it, we'd be able to sell it. So now let's quickly show how to add our bandit blade to the cell. I go into special frame 1, sell button 1 in item. I can click, change this to say bandit blade. Price on display. So just to show how much it's gonna sell for, so say we wanted this to say like, I don't know, 300, our bandit blade will sell for. Think that's all you have to do, although maybe, actually, one minute, let me test this. I'm not too sure on it, I haven't used this in a while. Gonna change the name of the button to bandit blade. Text in the button to bandit blade. Alright, let's test this out. Pawn shop I haven't really worked with. I think it honestly might be broken in the actual kit. I'll test though. But you don't have the bandit blade. So I guess it's not broken, I don't think anyway. Let's go over here and kill the boss, get the bandit blade, and then come back and sell it. Just gonna try and get through here without any other enemies chasing me. Oh, of course I can't. Oh my god. I don't appreciate this. He's just get the boss on me. So as you can see, the boss's name is Red since we have him ranked. I showed how to do that in a past part. Oh my god. If I die, I'm gonna be a little bit sad. We'll try and get back to the healing fountain really quickly. This might take a bit because the boss is level 10 and we're level 1 using the worst sword in the game, so like obviously aren't really supposed to be able to kill the boss too easily with this sword. This is the pain of testing a game. Oh god. I should have buffed the starter sword before I went in to do this if I was smart. He's getting kind of close to dying. Come on, die already. Like, a few more, 10 more hits-ish. Oh, of course I died, so now I'm gonna have to go back out, get back up and kill him. This is great. Swear to god if he regen. Okay, at least he didn't get his health back, that would have been sad. Alright, he's almost dead. And he's dead. So as you can see, we got this bandit blade. Let's just kill these enemies really quick now that we have a stronger sword. Much stronger. So if we come over here with this bandit blade, sword pawn, special, then click bandit blade. As you can see, you sold the bandit blade for 0 gold, so yeah. If you want to configure how much the sword sells for, I'll show how to do that really quickly. You just have to go into game items, get it, weapon config, cost, and change this to how much you want to sell for. And I believe it'll sell for that much. If not, I'll show how to do it for sure in the next episode. Anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next part.